So the basic clinical exam of the wrist, what we're first going to do is we're going to come in, we're going to do a visual inspection, look for any atrophy, any deformities. Do we have any prominence of the ulnar head? Is the carpals in a more dropped position? And then we're going to have the patient actively go through a dart thrower's motion. So I'm going to have you bring your arms up just like this for me, and at 45 degrees of pronation, I'm going to have you bring your wrists back for me and come forward. So we're just assessing to see, this is giving us a little screen of our mid-carpal motion. Good. And go ahead and relax. Now we're going to do our passive assessment, and I'm going to go side to side. So I'm going to start first coming in here, stabilizing at his elbow, going to the end of the range of flexion and giving a little bit of overpressure. Okay? And I'm going to compare to the opposite side here. Good. And now I'm going to go into extension. So coming up and give a little bit of overpressure. So we're looking for the presence of a capsular pattern where we would see an equal limit of flexion and extension compared to the uninvolved side. Then we're going to come in and we're going to do passive radial and ulnar deviation with slight extension and slight flexion, and that's going to help us to tease out if we have a problem on the radial side of the wrist here. So I'm going to go passive ulnar deviation first. Relax for me. I'm going to come in, I'm going to go to the end of the range, give a little bit of overpressure, coming up here, and slight flexion. And I'm going to do that same thing on the opposite side, coming in here, go to the end of the range, slight extension, and slight flexion, looking for provocation of pain. Then I'm going to go onto the radial side, and I'm going to come in here. I can stabilize in neutral, slight extension, and slight flexion. Okay. And here, straight radial deviation, slight extension, and slight flexion. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to look at forearm rotation. Relax for me here. Here I'm going to use the heel of my hand just on the radius, stabilizing at the elbow so I don't get compensation from the shoulder. When I go into pronation, I'm going to be turning my body a little bit and giving a little bit of overpressure. Okay? And I'm going to compare to the uninvolved side, coming in and overpressure. And now for supination, I'm going to come in here, go to the end of the range and give a little bit of overpressure. I'll come back here. Okay. Go to the end of the range and a little bit of overpressure. And my final passive test is I'm going to perform passive thumb retro position. So I'm going to do a bad handshake and stabilize the ulnar border. I want him to relax. I'm going to come in as close as I can to the base of my first metacarpal, passively assessing going into full retro position and comparing to the opposite side. Relax for me here and coming in, looking for the presence of a capsular pattern where I'd see more limited retro position. Now we're going to transition to our resisted tests. So I'm going to come up. When I do my resisted test for the wrist, I'm going to have his elbow in an extended position, so I'm maximizing the musculotendinous length. I'm going to start with flexor carpi radialis. I want his fingers in an extended position so I don't get contribution from the finger flexors. I can come up here or this direction, either way for my hand placement going toward my opposite elbow. So I've got my propeller wings out. So I'm going to come in. Don't let me move you. Hold, 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 and relax. And I'm going to come up, relax for me, and now I'm going to do a passive stretch. So this is assessing for a tenosynovitis, resisted for a tendinopathy. Okay, I'm going to come in here, hold, 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 FCU, and relax. And now I'm coming up toward my opposite elbow. If I have pain with FCU, because FCU doesn't have a tendon sheath, it's more likely an issue with the piezotriquetral joint because we don't have a tendon sheath. Okay? Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to flex his fingers so I don't have contribution from the EDC. And I'm going to come in, I'm going to test ECRB and L. Hold that, don't let me move you. Hold and relax, and I'm going to come down and passively stretch. And then I'm going to come in ECU. Here, don't let me move you. Hold, 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 and relax, and I'm going to come down and stretch. Okay, I'm going to do that same thing on the other side. For FCR, I'm going to bring his fingers straight. I'm going to come in, hold that, don't let me move you, hold, 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 and relax, and I'm going to come up for a passive stretch. Okay, keep your fingers straight, please. Come up, hold that, don't let me move you, hold, 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 and relax, and come up. And now when we look at ECRB&L, I want his fingers in slight flexion so we don't have contribution of the EDC. I'm going to come in, hold that, don't let me move you. Hold, 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 and relax. And come down for a passive stretch for tenosynovitis. Keep your fingers flexed. Come in here, hold, 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 and relax, and come down. Then for our final test, we're going to look at the thumb. So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to stabilize here. I want you just to stay in this position for me. So I'm going to do resisted radial abduction and relax, and then I'm going to follow up with an Aischoff test where he's going to tuck in and come down for passive stretch. Good. Relax for me. Now, staying in this same position, don't let me move you. Resisted palmar abduction at the MP joint and ulnar dorsal adduction here. And then finally, resisted ulnar adduction. Good. I'm going to do that same thing on the other side. I'm going to come in, keep his thumb in this same position. Don't let me move you. Hold and relax. And now I'm going to have you tuck in, and we'll do a passive stretch. Good. And relax. Stay here. And resisted palmar abduction. Hold and relax. Dorsal adduction. Hold and relax. And last but not least, ulnar adduction. And relax.